a railroad stop that became the heart of the Confederacy, a city burned to the ground that rebuilt itself into the capital of the New South. This is Atlanta, where Sherman's fire couldn't destroy its spirit, where a preacher's dream changed a nation, and where today's filmmakers chase the perfect Southern light. The history of Atlanta is America's story of resilience, told through steel rails and soaring speeches. The dark birth of Atlanta, displacement and destruction. Long before the railroads and settlers, the land where Atlanta now stands was sacred ground to the Creek people, whose ancestors had lived there for millennia. Their village of Standing Peachtree, nestled where Peachtree Creek meets the Chattahoochee River, was a symbol of their deep connection to the land. But as the 19th century unfolded, the relentless push of European American settlers descended upon the native peoples, forcing them out of their ancestral homes. By 1821, under the cruel policy of Indian removal, the Creek were ripped from their land and made to walk the Trail of Tears, leaving behind their villages and their legacy. In the wake of this tragedy, the land was claimed by European Americans, who began their own settlement in the newly formed village of Terminus. What began as a modest outpost to connect the port of Savannah with the Midwest soon bloomed into the town of Atlanta, named in tribute to a railroad. Yet, the birth of this new city was marred by the displacement of the Creek, the echo of their lost heritage haunting the very streets that would rise in their wake, forever tied to the grim history of forced removal and the price of progress. Atlanta's Inferno, the burning of a city. By 1860, Atlanta stood as a growing city, a vital hub for transportation and trade, its population swelling to nearly 10,000. But the drums of war were already echoing across the land, and Atlanta, with its railroads and military significance, became the prize in the relentless struggle of the American Civil War. In 1864, as General Sherman's Union Army pressed southward, Atlanta found itself at the heart of a brutal campaign. The Battle of Atlanta and the ensuing siege tested the city's will as Confederate forces, led by General John Bell Hood, struggled to hold the city against Sherman's might. On September 1, 1864, Hood made the harrowing decision to retreat, ordering the destruction of public buildings and resources that could aid the enemy. Just a day later, Atlanta's mayor, James Calhoun, surrendered the city to Sherman's forces. What followed was the devastating evacuation of its civilian population and the methodical, heartbreaking destruction of everything Atlanta had worked to build. On November 11, 1864, as the Union Army prepared for their infamous March to the Sea, Atlanta was left in ruins, its streets burned and its spirit shattered, a city undone by the fierce flames of war. Resurrection of Atlanta, from ashes to ambition. In the aftermath of the Civil War, Atlanta emerged from the smoldering ruins of its past, beginning the long, arduous journey of rebuilding. The city's strategic importance and rail transportation system fueled its revival, drawing new residents and investors eager to be part of its reconstruction. In 1868, the Georgia state capital was moved from Milledgeville to Atlanta, cementing the city's political significance. By 1880, Atlanta had surpassed Savannah as the largest city in Georgia, its growth a symbol of renewal. Henry W. Grady, the editor of the Atlanta Constitution, championed the city's transformation into the heart of the New South, one that embraced industry over agriculture. This vision materialized in the establishment of the Georgia School of Technology in 1885 and the Atlanta University Center, offering education to both men and women, particularly African Americans. In 1895, the city showcased its revitalization on the global stage, hosting the Cotton States and International Exposition, an event that attracted nearly 800,000 visitors and symbolized Atlanta's rise as a beacon of modernity and progress. The city's rebirth was not merely physical, it was a bold declaration that Atlanta, once reduced to ashes, was now poised to lead the charge into the future. A city torn and transformed, Atlanta's tumultuous 20th century. The early 20th century heralded both progress and turmoil for Atlanta. The city's growth surged as its population tripled, streetcar suburbs spread, and its skyline soared with iconic structures like the Equitable, Flatiron, Empire, and Candler buildings. Sweet Auburn became the heartbeat of black commerce, a beacon of resilience and achievement. Yet, beneath this rapid growth simmered racial tensions that erupted in the horrific Atlanta race riot of 1906, when white mobs violently attacked black communities, leaving dozens dead and entire neighborhoods destroyed. In 1913, the unjust conviction of Leo Frank, a Jewish-American factory manager, ignited national outrage, culminating in his lynching by a mob in 1915. The Jewish community was shaken to its core. Just 2 years later, the Great Atlanta Fire of 1917 consumed nearly 2,000 buildings, displacing 10,000 residents, while claiming a life and leaving the city's heart in ashes. Amidst these trials, a glimmer of glamour shone when the city hosted the premiere of Gone with the Wind in 1939, a cultural milestone overshadowed by the racial segregation that barred African-American actress Hattie McDaniel from attending. World War II, however, would bring Atlanta into a new era of prosperity, as Colonel Blake Van Leer's efforts to bring war-related manufacturing to the city transformed it into a vital industrial hub, attracting both jobs and residents. Yet, as the 1950s arrived, the city's growth began to be outpaced by suburban expansion, and Atlanta found itself no longer the beating heart of its own metropolitan area. The 20th century was a period of seismic change for Atlanta, marked by tragedies, triumphs, and transformation that left an indelible mark on the city's identity. Atlanta's evolution, a city transformed in the 21st century. In the 2000s, Atlanta was swept up in a profound transformation, physically, culturally, and demographically. As middle and upper-class African Americans began moving to the suburbs, a new wave of migrants from across the United States flooded the city, altering its demographic makeup. The African American population, which had once been the dominant force in the city, decreased from 67% in 1990 to 54% by 2010, as a surge of young, college-educated professionals moved into the heart of Atlanta. The city, once synonymous with Black culture and identity, became increasingly diverse with new waves of white, Asian, and Hispanic residents. This demographic shift coincided with sweeping urban renewal projects, such as the controversial Beltline, a $2.8 billion initiative that promised to revitalize Atlanta's infrastructure but also gentrified neighborhoods, displacing long-standing Black communities. During this period of expansion, Atlanta's cultural landscape blossomed with the High Museum of Art's expansion, the rise of the Alliance Theater, and the establishment of new art galleries. New landmarks like the College Football Hall of Fame and the National Center for Civil and Human Rights further solidified Atlanta's status as a cultural powerhouse. Yet, not all was without controversy. In 2018, the city was rocked by a massive cyber attack, showcasing vulnerabilities despite its technological advancements. Despite such challenges, Atlanta continued to expand its global presence, hosting major events such as the 2019 Miss Universe pageant and securing its place as a host city for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The transformation of Atlanta in the 21st century mirrored the city's unrelenting drive to reinvent itself, balancing growth with deep-rooted cultural change. Atlanta proves that cities can transform their legacy from Civil War symbol to civil rights beacon to cultural powerhouse. Now we want to hear your ATL story. Family roots? College memories? Or just love that Southern hospitality? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for our next American City documentary.